Have you ever sat down to work and found yourself doing everything except the thing you know that you should be doing? Well, in this episode, I share a very real behind the scenes moment after a major event where exhaustion, guilt, and resistance completely shut me down, even though I had important work waiting. What shifted everything wasn't more discipline, but a simple question that helped me to see what was really going on underneath the resistance. If you've ever struggled with procrastination, burnout, or feeling stuck, this conversation will help you rethink productivity in a whole new way. Hello, friends. This is Lynn Schulte, and you are listening to the Birth Healing Summit podcast. We are here for meaningful conversations that will transform the way you work with pregnant and postpartum clients. Whether it is a new perspective, tool, or technique, you'll be able to implement it into your practice today. I invite you to sit back, listen with an open mind, and grab the golden nugget today's guest has to offer. Now let's get started. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this podcast episode. And today I want to talk to you about resistance or feelings that come up for us that we want to resist, that we don't want to give into, and how does that impact us and our work. Okay, so this is an experience that I had after the Birth Healing Summit this year. I did the 2-day live online Birth Healing Summit, May 2nd and 3rd, and then which went great. And it was incredible weekend. So much healing happened, some really good stuff. So the event went well, and it was a lot for me to hold space and organize and make sure the speakers showed up and the, technology and it was just a lot for me to hold, which I love doing. And it was incredible for myself and everybody involved. And it was also a lot. And I want to just honor that for me. And then Monday, I had to produce and edit all the transcripts and the audio and the recordings and all that. And that pretty much took me till Thursday to get that done because they needed to be posted and live on Friday. And I also worked in the clinic 2 of those days too. So it was a busy week followed by, following a busy weekend. And Friday, and prior to the summit, I've been working on revamping both the holistic pregnant and postpartum body courses, and so that's another huge project that I'm working on. And Friday came around, and I was just feeling this inner drive to work on the courses. Like I wanted to, get some more work done towards that project. But yet I woke Friday morning with just this like heaviness and this dread. And I had a podcast interview that I was doing for someone else's podcast, and I got that done. And then I went downstairs working, and I'm trying to get into my courses. And I found myself just scrolling on social media. And I just could not force myself to do any work. And I had a lunch date with a friend of mine that I hadn't seen in a really long time, and I was really looking forward to seeing her. And I pretty much wasted any work time that I could have gotten done by scrolling. And so but it was so funny because there was not anything else that I could have done during that time because I just couldn't get off of the screen, and I was just stuck there. And so I was headed to lunch, needed to go drive 40 minutes to meet my friend for lunch. And I was talking to my boyfriend on the phone and just explaining like, oh my gosh, I just totally checked out this morning and could not get any work done. And I just really want to get this project not started, but started completed. And so I felt like I should be doing work on this big project, the courses. And he asked me the question, what would you be doing differently than what you are right now? And at first I was just like, whoa, what? I had no concept of what he was even asking me because I did want to go to lunch with my friend. And so I was excited about that. So I didn't want to be doing anything differently than what I currently was at that moment. However, I did pack. So I had lunch plans and then I had playing tennis at 5 o'clock. And I didn't know if I would have time in between to do some work. So I had brought my computer. So I thought maybe, well, I'll work in between these two events that I had that day. And when I really sat with his question, it was like, oh, I wouldn't have packed my computer and I won't work today. Like that's what I wanted to do differently. And as soon as I gave myself permission to not work that day, like all the resistance just left. And what I realized as I was talking with him and giving myself permission to not do the work, but the guilt and the that was what was coming up. It was like, oh, but I should be doing this work. I should be doing this. Yet when I gave myself permission to not do the work, actually everything just lifted. And I realized that the fear of not doing the work would lead to me not ever wanting to do the work again. That if I gave into the feeling of not wanting to do it and I just didn't do it, that I would be stuck in that never wanting to do it again. And as soon as I realized and gave myself permission to not do the work, it freed that up. And there was a shift in the energy. There wasn't that fear anymore. And what I experienced is that I actually gave myself the whole weekend, because I have been known to work a couple hours here and there every weekend to get stuff done. And I gave myself the whole weekend not to work. And it is Monday morning now, and I am energized. I am ready to work on the courses, and I am excited about it now. And I just want you, if any of you are experiencing this resistance, and I think about like sometimes they say depression is us avoiding our feelings, and then if we just really went into the feelings and felt it, that maybe that would lift. And please don't get me wrong, I do know that there are chemical imbalances that there's a lot wrapped around depression. And I also feel some people's, and not everybody's, please don't get me wrong with this, some people's depression is just an avoidance of feeling deeper feelings that they don't really want to process, which is exactly what I was feeling with this weekend, of not really wanting to do the work and feeling the dread of trying to work, but trying to force myself to do it. But when I just gave in, it did free me up. And so I just want you all to remember that what you resist persists. And if we can get curious about what we are resisting and we can honor it and acknowledge it, then it can go away. If we don't allow ourselves to go where our feelings are wanting to take us, that's the resistance that's going to persist. And I can guarantee you that our creativity, our creative energy needs spaciousness. It needs time away from doing the work. It needs time for us to go play and not think about anything, because that's sometimes where the inspiration can truly come through, is when we're not, I'm putting this in quotes, working so hard. And I have learned this over the years, that whenever you don't think you have time to go take care of yourself because you should be working, that's actually counterproductive, because if you work yourself into a tizzy or to deplete yourself, the quality of that work is going to be minimal. Versus if you allow yourself the space, the freedom, the self-care that you really need, then you open that space up to allow creativity to come in, and then that can inspire the work that you're meant to do. And I just hope that this is resonating with some of you, that if you find yourself ever resisting something, whatever it may be, really get curious with it. And I invite you to give yourself permission to give into whatever the resistance is, and see what happens. Stay curious with it, because usually when we allow the full expression of whatever wants to come up, whatever it is that we want to do, and we give ourselves freely the permission without the guilt, without the shame, and without the shoulds, I should be working, I should be doing this. We have to let all that go in order to really open up ourselves, open up our energies, open up our creativity, to allow that to flow in. And so I just give you all permission to give yourself time and space to fill yourself up, to do what brings you joy, and then see what happens. Because I spent a wonderful weekend playing tennis and hanging out with my boys, hanging out with my neighbors that just bring me so much joy, hanging out with my boyfriend, and it just has really reignited this fire within me that I'm excited to bring that to my work. And I want the same for you. Please, we don't need to struggle. We don't need to force things to happen. I think that's one of the biggest things that I've learned over the years, is that forcing something, doing something out of fear never works out well. That when we can let go of the fear, bring in the love, bring in the joy, that's when the magic happens. So I invite you to find the joy, embrace that love, and do what feels good for you, and then see what happens as you bring that to your work. Okay? Good luck, everybody. Thanks so much for listening in, and we will see you all on the next episode. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Today's podcast was brought to you by the Institute for Birth Healing. To discover more, visit instituteforbirthhealing.com. To claim $50 off of any online course, use coupon code PODCAST50 at checkout. Till next time, I'm Lynn Schulte, founder of the Institute for Birth Healing.